Up next on U.S. Bank Business Watch, presented by the Business Courier, is your company on the list? What it is and what 150 local companies made it. A top public company is shedding brands. Will your favorite products remain part of P&G? And celebrating Cincinnati's beer heritage above and below ground. U.S. Bank Business Watch is next. Good morning and welcome to U.S. Bank Business Watch. I'm Peg Rasconi. The Business Courier loves lists, and this week's front page cover story features a list you will want to check out. It profiles Cincinnati's 150 largest private companies, each earning over $50 million in annual revenue, including 6 new companies that are joining the ranks for the first time. The 150 companies make up some of the brightest and most successful companies and individuals in Cincinnati. They have a combined revenue of $40 billion. Earnings like that are no happy accident, and the list is intended to celebrate that. It's also intended to help you gauge trends in growth and keep you up to date on the city's latest and greatest movers and shakers. The top 5 names on the list are Total Quality Logistics, Advanced Pierre Foods, Castellini Group, Likens Energy Solutions, and Millicron. You'll find a special insert in this week's print edition highlighting all 150 companies. Business Courier editor Rob Dahlmeyer joins Business Watch producer Kelly Leon in the studio to tell you how to make the most of the valuable information contained here. Rob and Kelly.
Thanks, Peg. That is an amazing piece there.
Thank you.
Lots of details, lots of time. Why does the Business Courier take the time and energy to do this?
Because it's tough to get, and so therefore it's more valuable. These are private companies, and in this town, private means private. Maybe not in some other cities, but Cincinnati is still, shut your mouth and get to work. I mean, we joke around at the office. A lot of the companies refer to us as the Cincinnati none of your business courier. So we have to do a lot. The work comes in basically in getting these companies to give us the information we need to make sure this list is as expansive as possible.
How do people use this? Like, when I get this in my edition, why should I keep it close by?
Yeah, it is a 12-month product, we think, and the reason for that is, first of all, there's 150 private companies on the list. These companies, a lot of them, even on the smaller end of the big ones, they don't have marketing teams, they don't have advertising teams. In other words, you may not have heard of a lot of these companies, but they are hiring people. They want to do business with companies in town, so knowing who runs the place, what business they're in, how much they've grown, what size they are, we feel like is a very useful tool.
And as Peg mentioned, TQL is at the top of the list. They're new this year.
That's right. They keep growing like crazy. They've like doubled the size of their revenues in the last 4 or 5 years. They've never not made them. I mean, they're on a rocket ship. But so they're at 1.6 billion. They passed Castellini, Advanced Pierre Foods to become #1. It's a tough company. They've got 250 job openings right now. One of the reasons they do is because they say it right up. This is not a company. Slackers need not apply. It is a high energy, high pressure place. And you see the kinds of people that work there do very, very well when they succeed. Therefore, the company's growing.
And interestingly enough, of the 6 new companies, one of them is also a logistics company. So is that maybe a trend that we're starting to see?
Cincinnati is considered one of the 2 or 3 biggest cities in the country for logistics companies. These are companies that handle getting stuff from one city to another. There's not a lot of TQL doesn't have a fleet of trucks. They just make sure stuff gets from one place to the next as quickly and as efficiently as possible. There's a lot of money to be made if you're good at that.
Okay, great. It's a fun publication. Just keep it, page through it when you have time. So thanks. I hope people use it. Peg, we'll send it back to you.
All right, Kelly and Rob, thanks. Great piece of work. Well, speculation continues after last week's announcement that Procter & Gamble plans to shed up to 100 underperforming brands. We still don't know what's out, but there seems to be some certainty on what's in. A portfolio manager at Cincinnati-based Ball & Gaynor Investment Council, which owns 3.6 million shares of P&G stock, says there are some sacred cows like Pampers and Tide. But for other brands, it's a question of the potential sale price. 70 to 80 core P&G brands account for 90% of sales and more than 95% of profits, according to CEO A.G. Lafley. The top-selling P&G brands are Pampers, Gillette, Tide, Pantene Hair Care, and Olay skincare products, according to a New York research and brokerage firm. Well, following an announcement from Cincinnati-based EW Scripps last week that it would exit the newspaper business, two other media companies have announced they will spin off their newspapers from digital operations. That includes Gannett, the parent company of the Cincinnati Enquirer, and the Tribune Company, according to published reports. Scripps announced on July 30th it will become strictly a TV, radio, and digital media operator while spinning off its newspapers to Milwaukee-based Journal Media Group. Scripps will add Journal Communications, 13 TV stations, and 35 radio stations, and remain headquartered in Cincinnati. Scripps CEO Rich Bainey told the Business Courier last week the merger and spinoff will create a major broadcast TV power and give the Cincinnati-based company plenty of opportunities to grow. You'll be sure to look for that interview in the Courier's print edition. Well, the icon tax vote is moving forward, minus one icon. The Hamilton County Commission's Republican majority has approved putting a 5-year 0.25% sales tax increase to fund repairs to Union Terminal only. That vote dashed the hopes of Music Hall supporters who had hoped commissioners would allow a public vote to rehab both icons. The approved plan would raise $170 million over 5 years to restore the museum center at Union Terminal. The original plan was a 14-year hike that would raise $330 million that included Music Hall.
At the end of the day, however, passion and zeal are sometimes trumped by hard realities, and that's dollars and cents and what makes sense for the big picture for our communities.
Supporters of the joint plan are calling the commission vote an abdication of leadership. Well, more bad news for an iconic riverfront restaurant. It's sinking. Cincinnati restaurateur Jeff Ruby said a barge that recently hit the waterfront restaurant may be the cause. The waterfront has been moored off River Road in Taylorsport since it broke free from its moorings in Covington last February. In June, Ruby made the decision to rebuild the waterfront either on stilts or on land. Workers say the restaurant had already been sold for scrap. Ruby tweeted a photo of the sinking restaurant and thanked the community for its support during the recent events. Cincinnati has a new city manager. Cincinnati